Dear fellow business owners, in this video, I'm going to cover the latest provisions from the 1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan Act passed by the President on March 11th, 2021. There are so many provisions in this act, but our focus for this video is the tax provisions that directly benefit small business owners. My name is Jayanti Ganapathy. I'm the CEO of Finaccurate. We are an accounting firm based in Boston, Massachusetts. So let's get to this presentation and please note that I will also be sharing a PDF of everything I'm going to cover in this video. It also has a reference to the actual bill, and also if it's an IRS notification, it has reference to all of that. So it'll be easy for you to grasp more of what I'm covering in this video when you go through the PDF. So yeah, like I said, our focus on this video is going to be only for small business owners. I'm not going to cover everything from the American Rescue Plan Act. So very specifically, the first one is the small business lending options. And again, in this video, I'm only covering the recent changes from the American Rescue Plan Act for related to paycheck protection. There are several relief programs came out since last year, and we are not going to go into the details of all of that. The focus here is just to cover the difference or what has changed as a result of the American Rescue Plan Act. So you're all familiar with the Paycheck Protection Program. So the American Rescue Plan, what they did is they have put in an additional $7.25 billion towards the Paycheck Protection Program, so it can directly benefit the small businesses. That's one change, and they've also expanded the eligibility for non-profit. If you're a non-profit organization, and if you're generating receipts from lobbying activities, as long as it's not more than 15% of your receipts coming from lobbying activities, you are now eligible. They've also introduced a new terminology called additional covered non-profit entity. You can look into the bill. I have referenced the page number here. When you get the PDF, you will notice that. If you qualify under that definition, and as long as your receipts from the lobbying activities is not more than 1 million, you will also be now eligible for the Paycheck Protection Program, as long as the nonprofit is not more than 300 employees. And also they have increased their eligibility for internet publishing organization. Another major welcoming change which we are eagerly anticipating also is there is a recommendation to extend the Paycheck Protection Program beyond March 31st, 2021. Currently, the program is set to end by end of this month, March 31st, but there is a strong proposal to extend it to 2 more months, so a lot more small businesses can benefit. Another thing is the original funds allocated for the PPP the Paycheck Protection Program is still available, and now through the ARP, they've added 7.25 billion more. So all of this funds needs to be used up. So there's a very strong possibility of the PPP program getting extended by another 2 months. So next, on the changes, another welcoming change on the Paycheck Protection Program is for the Schedule C owners. If you're self-employed, if you're independent contractor, and filing for Schedule C, then you go and apply for your paycheck protection. If you come under that category, you would remember when you filed for your paycheck protection program, they went by the net profit that you reported in your tax return. But ARP introduced a change. Now those who use net profit are now and gotten a small PPP are now eligible to go with their gross receipts reported on line 7 of Schedule C instead of going by the net profit reported on line 31. As long as the good way to check this is if your net profit reported on Schedule C line 31 is less than $100,000, then you will benefit by this change, because there is a cap of the maximum paycheck protection program that you can get, which is $20,833. Based on 100,000 in net income that you generated. If your net income line 31 is already over 100,000, then you will not be, there won't be any change in how much you can get from the PPP. But if it's under $100,000, then you will benefit from this change. And then the next for small business owners is you would also know about the economic injury disaster loans, and there was an advance portion for the loan. There are no changes to the loan as such, but there are changes to the advance that you got. So American Rescue Plan has increased the funding for this program, which is called the Targeted EIDL Advance. They have funded an additional $15 billion towards this program, and it's called the Targeted EIDL Advance. It goes to the low-income communities, and there's the definition of how you identify if you're in the low-income community or not. There's also a link in the SBA website you can put your zip code or the address in to see if you come under the low-income community. Only for those businesses in the low-income community, if you already applied for the advance in 2020, you would remember originally they said it was going to be $10,000 per business, but later on they changed it to $1,000 per employee in your business. Now through this additional funding, they are saying they are now going to go back, and whoever who come under the targeted EIDL, the low-income community definition, they are all going to get the full $10,000 which they originally announced. Let's say you received only $1,000 instead of $10,000, you are through this program you can now get the full $10,000. How this is going to work is there's no application for you to fill in and get this difference. SBA is going to reach out to you via email directly if you are eligible, and if you're in the low-income community, they will be reaching out to you and asking for more documents and information to submit so you can get this differential. So another welcoming change from this program is they also funded an additional, out of the $15 billion, $10 billion is going to go to businesses who previously applied for this program and did not get the full 10,000. But there's also $5 billion of this funds is going to go to new applicants, businesses who missed to apply in 2020, but they are coming under the low-income community and they comply with the targeted EIDL advance rules. Then they are now eligible to get the EIDL advance as well. So those who have previously missed out, you have a second chance now. You can go ahead and get this benefit as long as you had impact to your revenue due to COVID greater than 50%, and you have less than 10 employees, and again, the one difference is the advance amount, or the advance, it's called advance, but it's a grant, is now for this program for new applicants is only restricted to $5,000 instead of $10,000. That's the only change that you have to keep in mind. Next, those are on the lending option side, and there are a few grants announced by the government through the ARP as well. So number one, this is the new grant that's introduced and specifically to support the restaurants. There's a $23 billion allocation for this grant. Out of that, $5 billion will go to restaurants with gross receipts less than $500,000 in 2019, And the remaining funds will be allocated to different entities of different sizes based on their gross receipts. The details are not out yet. When it's available, I will cover in my next video. And how much you can get from this grant is it's a maximum of $10 million, and it's calculated based on the difference between the gross receipts you had in 2019 and the gross receipts in 2020. Let's say pre-COVID 2019, you had 500,000 in gross receipts from your restaurants, and in 2020, let's say it was 200,000. The grant amount is the difference between 500,000 and 200,000. So 300,000 is the grant amount that you can get from this program, which is huge. And again, this is to help the restaurants, and there are so many restaurants closing because of impact due to COVID. Government want to directly support those who are directly impacted, and specifically in this industry. So that's why this program. There's also, if you have multiple locations, you can include all of them, but not more than 20 locations. If you have multiple locations, there is a per physical location limit of $5 million with a maximum of $10 million. But the important thing is knowing that this provision is available and taking benefit from it. So there's a little bit more details to it. Like I mentioned, I will be sharing a PDF which has all the slides I'm presenting here, and you can go over that to see the nitty-gritty details of how to go about apply for this. Maybe I'll just highlight two things. The two things you need to have to apply for this program is you need to have the DUNS number, DUNS. If you don't already have one for your business, make sure you go ahead and apply for it. DUNS you can get in a day, but the next step of the process is registering in sam.gov. That's a new website is being set up for specifically for this grant, and also already existing shuttle venue operators grant. For both of them, you have to register yourself in SAMs, and the SAM registration process takes about 2 weeks. So that's something you want to get out of your way and be prepared and ready. As soon as the program is open for people to apply, you are ready with this information and you can go ahead and apply. So those are two things I would highlight, but the rest you can see when you look up the PDF. And what are the documentations needed? Another thing I want to highlight is when this program opens up and they open the application, for the first 21 days, they are restricting the application to only businesses owned and controlled by women, businesses owned and controlled by veterans, and socially and economically disadvantaged small business concerns. So there's a priority for these businesses so they can get benefited first before the funds run out, and the others can go ahead and apply. And there's also like how you can use the funds. You can go to the PDF to understand more. And so the next one is the next grant, a big one is the shuttle venue operators grant. This is not new. This was all previously introduced end of December through the omnibus agreement. So this was already there. Only change here is there's an additional funding of 1.25 billion from the American Rescue Plan Act towards this program. And this hasn't launched yet, even though they announced the end of December. The applications are going to be available only during first week of April. Just knowing that, and if you are eligible for the shuttle venue operators grant, the grant amount is 45% of the revenue that you earned in 2019, up to a maximum of $10 million. And there's also an opportunity to get a second grant, which is 50% of the first grant, again, not to exceed more than $10 million. And I have put in explanation how what are the eligibility criteria, what are the documentation needed. If you already received PPP or the EIDL, how does that impact in going about and applying for the certificate? You can review all of this information, and also the common questions that asked, and again the list of financial documents, what forms you need to fill out, everything is there, and you can review the PDF that I'll be sharing end of this video. So the next section is the small business credit. There are few credits announced, and it's definitely having the awareness and going and claiming this. The first one is from the American Rescue Plan Act. They have allocated $10 billion to the state, to various states. We don't know how much is allocated to what states, but there's a $10 billion allocation from the federal government to the states, and for the states to go ahead and give it to their small businesses in their location. So it's up to the state to design how the different programs and how they want to provide this benefit to their businesses in their states. But there's a $10 billion allocation goes to the states. So make sure you are checking with your states for what you're eligible for your business. So just awareness and making sure you are checking with your state and claiming those credit for your business. The next change is the basic and family leave credit. There are a few changes here. The biggest one is it was going to expire originally in March. Now they've extended to September 30th, 2021. And they've also increased the amount from $10,000 per employee to $12,000 per employee per year. And the number of days for self-employed individuals increased from 50 to 60, and they've expanded the credit to allow employers, not only for the employees who got COVID and took leave, but also if the employee is taking the COVID-19 vaccine and the time they're taking to go and get the vaccine is also eligible under the basic and family leave credit. And also if they had any after effects, injury, disability or illness or condition related to the COVID-19 immunization, they can also go and take leave, and the employer can pay the employees and get credit for that as well. Those are some of the changes on the basic and family leave credit. Again, but there's also a discrimination provision. The employers cannot discriminate based on full-time employees or highly compensated employees, and the extension. All of these changes applies only effective from April 1, 2021, all the way to September 30, 2021, and the existing rules prevail until March 31st. Again, when you go through the PDF, you will see a little bit more detail on the per day eligibility and all that. But those are the highlights for now. So the next major one on the tax credit section is the employee retention tax credit. This is a big one for small business owners. Very similar to the Paycheck Protection Program, the benefit that you got from Paycheck Protection Program. It's equivalent to that. This is not again new. This is already there. 2020 employee retention tax credit, and also 2021 you were based on the current provisions Q1 and Q2. So what the American Rescue Plan Act did is they extend the credit now to Q3 2021 and also to Q4 2021. So if you know these provisions, you will know if you're eligible based on your revenue criteria or business shutdown or suspension criteria, then you can get for 2020 $5,000 per employee per year for 2020, and for 2021 you could get $7,000 in employee retention tax credit per employee per quarter. So that means for the entire year 2021, now with an expansion, you can get $28,000 in credit per employee for the full year. It's $7,000 per quarter, so times 4, it's $28,000. So for 2021, the criteria is if you experience a 20% drop in revenue in each quarter in 2021 compared to 2019. So if you're impacted and you meet this criteria, you are based on number of employees in your business, you're looking at a huge credit, and it's also, the good part is also refundable and also advanceable. So make sure it's all making sure you're aware of this and going and claiming this. That's all it takes. And another change from the ARP related to this credit is now they've also made the businesses who started after February 15, 2020. Previously, all of the COVID relief programs were only available for businesses who already existed as of February 15, 2020. This is the only place where they said we will also provide relief for businesses who just started on or after February 2020. But there is a limit there. Only businesses who made gross receipts up to $1 million, and there's also a restriction on the credit that they can get. They are only restricted to get $50,000 in credit per year based on the type of business. So the rest of the provisions related to ERTC is still the same. I have given the details of the eligibility criteria and an example of how to calculate ERTC. So once you look at the PDF, you will understand more about this as well, and how you can exactly apply this for your business and take advantage of this credit. And then from ARP, there is also the clarification about how you can maximize both PPP and employee retention tax credit. There were a lot of confusion and disadvantage until the explanation came out in this act. If you already used your wages for the full cover period in PPP, you weren't previously able to go back and use those wages for ERTC. Now, with this provision, they say you now have the flexibility to allocate the wages from the PPP coverage period as long as you met the 60% minimum payroll coverage criteria. You now have the flexibility to use any payroll over 60% toward the ERTC, so you can maximize the benefit from both PPP forgiveness and also from ERTC. So we have explanation for year 2020, but we are still waiting for the explanation to take advantage of ERTC and PPP for year 2021. That still hasn't come out as of recording this video. Again, I've given a little bit more details about how you can maximize PPP and ERTC. You can you can look at the PDF and the links that I've provided to understand more. So that's all. Those are all the major provisions and the benefits from the American Rescue Plan that directly benefits small business owners. Again, just to recap, the benefits from ARP for small businesses. We looked at the lending options, paycheck protection program, changes to the economic injury loans, the advance, and we looked at the grants. The restaurant revitalization grant is the new one, directly to benefit restaurant industries. Shuttered venue operators grant changes, additional funding there, and the credits related to state, and changes to the sick and family leave credits and the employee retention tax credit. Those are the sections we covered in this video. I've also released another video where I went over the benefits for individual taxpayers. So please make sure to watch that video if you can take advantage. Every small business owner is also an individual taxpayer, so you will benefit from watching that video as well. I went over the details in that. So thanks for watching, and please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can watch our future videos that directly benefit your small businesses, and you can take advantage of the government grants, and we will be releasing videos on how to save taxes for small business owners, so you will benefit and learn from our videos. Please make sure to click on the bell icon as well, so you will be notified when we produce future videos. Thanks for watching, and I wish you all good luck. Thank you.